I'm rating the 100 greatest books of all time, so you don't have to. And today we're going to be deep diving into A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. My last video, I ranked 1984 by George Orwell, and I ranked it a B. So make sure that you stick around to see where this book ranks. So funny enough, the first part that really resonated with me wasn't even in the book. It was at the beginning here when they're talking about the author. And Charles Dickens is just known to be very extreme with his characters. The book takes place in the 1700s. There's things like guillotines where they're chopping people's heads off. It's very barbaric, and his characters are very extreme. And there's this quote here where he says, "Those who fall somewhere between truly are the silent majority." It's almost inspiring in a sense because it motivates you to be the tall poppy and to strive for excellence so that you're remembered. But at the same time, it's comforting because it's like you're average and people aren't going to remember you anyways. So why not live your best life and do things that you actually want to do? Another part that I really liked was at the end. This one might be a bit of a spoiler, so make sure that you scroll away if you don't want to hear this. But at the end, there's this beautiful death that occurs where somebody basically sacrifices themselves for someone else and they get the guillotine. So somebody gets their head chopped off for somebody else, which is so extreme. But I found that Charles did a really good job at portraying the death beautifully. And I feel like in today's day and age, a lot of people are fearful of death. They're very disconnected from it. As a nurse in the hospital, I see it all the time. And I'm not saying that in the 1700s people weren't afraid of death, but they were coming into contact with it all the time, right? You go to Parade Square and you would see somebody that is getting their head cut off. Like, that is extreme. That's very barbaric, right? So I felt like he did such a good job at portraying sacrifice and honor, something that most of us don't really have to think about anymore. And another thing that I really liked is that he sacrificed himself for someone else. And at the end of the book, he just did such a good job at showing that sometimes the best thing that someone can do is to be selfless and to do something for someone else. Sometimes you don't even think that doing something for someone else could be the best choice. So I ranked this book a C on the scale. I was surprised by myself that I ranked it there because it definitely is a slow burn, but I think that it's definitely worth the read. The next book that we're going to be reading is called Dune by Frank Herbert, so make sure that you follow along if you want to see where it's ranked and if you want to know the core message of the book.